Hi guys and girls on YouTube and welcome to my channel. We're back onto this again, the Samsung saga of the microwave ovens where the start button doesn't always work. Now on this one the customer said it's very intermittent. I think I might have found a workaround this, so we just try it. Press the start, you'll see that does work. But the customer says sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now I found the way to diagnose this is, you see the button here that says child lock. If you press that and hold it down for about 5 seconds, it should display an L for lock on the display. If you get any other segments lit up, that's pointing to a fault on the control panel. So let's just hold this down and see what happens. There, and can you see we've got L for lock, but also at the side we've got 2 more L symbols. They should not be lit. So let's just cancel that again by holding the child lock down for 5 seconds. Right, there we go. Now the actual keypad here, this isn't the one out of a microwave, this is one I've already changed before. The actual keypad is multiplexed with the display, so we don't use too many pins on the microprocessor. And I think what the problem is, I think it's a leakage in this display itself in some of the diodes. Now strangely enough, this part is no longer, it's got a part number on it there. I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, I've got a big diagram here. This part number is no longer available from Samsung, which I find a bit odd, because they've been using this same display for about 3 years, and the oven I'm working on now is only just out of warranty. Now I made all these diagrams of the bits that light up and the bits that shouldn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try out this theory first. These, by the way, I've just printed these from the internet. These have been very useful with all the different pinouts on the display. I'm just going to try this quick workaround and then we'll come back in a few minutes. Let me just mention something else first. This fault can be intermittent and it can go away on its own. I'll just demonstrate on this, but this circuit board here, this is one I replaced about a year ago, and I kept the old one for evaluation. This is a brand new keyboard, and strangely enough the fault on this has gone away on its own. Now I had another microwave that somebody brought in for repair and they didn't want it doing, and that the start button didn't work on that, and I put it to one side for about 12 months, and then the next time I came to use it, it worked absolutely fine. So this fault can go away on its own, but let's just plug this board in here. I'll just give you a quick demonstration of this. Right, so if I press down that one, there's the lock. Look at that. In the time this has been standing, the fault on there has gone away on its own. Now, I'll tell you what I think it is. I think it's leakage in this display. But let's just try this quick trick first. And then we'll come back in a few minutes. Let's just cancel that. There we go. Right, so I'll just point out another quick thing. Although these boards have the same number on there, the one I'm working on is a different revision. So if you look at that, it's at the end it's 30A and this one is 30R. But they're the same board. They might have revised parts on. In fact, I've noticed that the display on this old one I've got, I don't know, yeah, you can see that now, it ends in A9391, and on the one I'm working on it ends in A940-1. So presumably they've modified the display. Right, so the first thing you want to do is unsolder your display like that, and then we're going to fit 5 isolation diodes on these common terminals here by cutting a leg and fitting a diode in. I'll show you when it's done. Right, like so. Now I'm using 1N4148 diodes here, and you need the cathode, which is the black band, to go to this display. I don't know how well that shows up on the camera. And then we just trim these leads and fit that back in. Right, it's actually very, very fiddly, and for a first attempt that's probably not that good. But the problem is, you see, you've got to solder the bottom of the diode to the board, and as you can see there's not a great deal of room under there. I might have to come up with an alternative idea, and then of course you can just bench test this to make sure it's alright. I've just soldered 2 wires on there, and if we plug it in, and if you've done it right, all the segments should light up when you first turn on, like that. If there's 2 or 3 segments not lit, then you haven't got a diode soldered in properly. So you've got to look for the whole lot lit, just like that. Right, let's put it back in the microwave and see what happens. Right, so that's the board back in the microwave. Let's plug it in. Yeah, it's reset. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold this lock button down, because if it is the display that's faulty and there's got an internal leak on some of the diodes, it should still show them 3 L's. So let's have a look. But having put the having put the isolation diodes in, it should show the display's 3 L's, but it should work normally. So let's just hold that down. Yeah, you can see you've still got them L's lit up. Let's just take that off and just check that the microwave functions. Set it for 20 seconds. There you go, and the microwave's still functioning, so hopefully that should cure the problem. You can of course just fit a new board, about £90 for a new board, but I've seen so many of these with the same fault that the chances are it's only going to last so long and then it's going to go again. Let's just put the L's on again. Yeah, there we go. So that little modification, let's just make a note of it on a piece of paper. Right, so looking at the board this way, which is upside down, with the display towards me, it's the first 5 here you need to cut. And if you fit a diode just like that with the cathode to the display, and these pins coming out soldering to the board under there, which is very, very difficult, that is what I've done to isolate the faulty display. So I'll put the board there, that way up, the first 5 connections, the cathode or the band goes to the display itself. Alright guys and girls on YouTube, many thanks for watching my channel. Keep subscribing and let me know what you think. Alright, goodbye.